Hello?
Yeah,
Hey, how's it going?
doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks. So sorry for the extra 20 minutes. My Metafy session with my last student just kind of went over a little bit. I was just doing a session with them, but yeah, sorry about that.
Oh yeah, no
Um,
worries.
but yeah, thank you for booking me. I really appreciate it. I saw you get to play a little bit in my sub tournament earlier last week. It was a lot of fun. I think your Marth was really exciting to watch. So I really appreciate not only just you playing in the sub tournament, but you actually booking a session on Metafy as well. Um, I do. I know this is our first time having a session together, so I do just want to get a couple questions with you out of the way,
hmm
even though I did get to see you play a little bit. But what made you want to choose me as a coach for Metafy?
Uh, I'm looking for a Marth coach. I think I've watched you play for a bit. I think there's a lot of things that I like how you play, and there are things that I'm looking to like change, looking for the ways that I'm looking to play.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's
Also,
perfectly valid.
your price point compared to other coaches is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's a lot more
Um,
affordable, I think. That's like realistic for an average
yeah,
person.
also just a Mario enjoyer as well.
Okay, swag. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. I appreciate it. Okay, cool. So, other couple questions I want to ask. How long have you been playing for?
I started right. I started competing right before COVID hit.
Okay,
I
okay.
went to like two or three locals before, and then I've been playing actively since then.
That's sweet. No, welcome to Melee. Right before COVID, I'm still gonna call you a new player. You know, like
hmm
it's. I've been playing for 7 years, and like I feel like I've only been playing for a little bit. You know, this game's
Yeah.
hard. Okay, so last question is: how familiar would you say you are with like Melee terminology and matchup theory in general?
Uh, very familiar, I would say.
Okay. So if I were to say things like different types of power shielding or like auto cancel nair or like just kind of like flow charting and stuff like that, you kind of understand that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just want to get an idea of like how our session could go. Okay, so with questions out of the way, thank you by the way for answering them. I appreciate it. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a introduction for like how lessons with me typically work, and we can talk about what it is you're looking to accomplish or things like that.
Mhm.
So in general, I'm very big on long-term improvement. Um, I think what will happen often with a lot of coaches, especially on Metafy, is that some people will book a one-time session where they get a discount code or something, or they get a lesson for free or cheap, and they get their one-time session. They get a couple of questions answered about Marth versus Fox or whatever it is, and then they kind of leave the session with like a couple quick answers. But that's really it. I feel like for those types of people, if that's what you're looking for, more often than not, you're better off looking up quick guides and watching your own VODs if you unless you can't like watch your own VODs, in which case that makes sense. But more often than not, it's not really worth it for just a couple quick answers. I think quick answers and answers to situations are a given on Metafy, but for a one-time session, I think that's really all you're gonna get. So, like I said, I'm very big on long-term improvement. Typically, what I do with students who book for like a first-time session is we'll typically sit down and kind of like lay out the roadmap or game plan of a matchup. Um, Talk about the rules of like things you must hit, things you must never do, like the objective truth kind of thing is the way I put it, and kind of build off that in future sessions. So we'll talk about it in maybe just once a time about like what the matchup looks like, how it should be played, kind of thing on theory on paper.
Mhm.
And then when we actually do VOD review or we play or anything like that, it's a lot easier to kind of build off what we talked about before, and it's more permanent and long lasting than if you were to watch like an SSBM tutorials video or something like that. It actually will stick with you. So that's kind of an idea of that. I definitely am big on totally fine for people who do want to try it, just like dip their feet in the water kind of thing, one time lesson. But I do try to encourage people to uh, book multiple sessions if they did find that the first time was helpful, because that's where they're really going to find improvement. So that's one thing. The other thing, super quick, was just that in general, um, all these recordings are or sorry, all these sessions are recorded, so they'll be available to you on YouTube. I know you're already in my Discord, so you have access to that. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for lessons and discount on that soon, but you can always join my Discord for sessions from all my other students, so you have access to all their VODs. You can get access to discounts and things like that. But I always recommend for people when they do book multiple sessions to try and do their best to rewatch the video that we have of our session together today. We're going to be talking a lot over the next hour, and I'm sure you'll be able to grasp a lot of the major concepts and have a breakthrough on some things. But there's just so many things we're going to talk about in an hour. It's going to go by fast, right? It's the same reason why like professors in a university will tell you like take notes while you go and do your best while you can. I think it's helpful for the major concepts, but you have the video access forever. Take advantage of it is what I recommend. So yeah, I definitely recommend watching the video back. I think it's just crucial. A lot of people don't do that, and it's a massive deal. It's the same reason why I won't ask people to like book multiple sessions back to back, because I think you probably will just have more value rewatching the last session we had together and kind of building off that. I think that's everything. If I don't have my intro. I know that's not scripted. It's just because I've said it so many times, but I don't actually have anything written down. So if something comes up, I will bring it up here and there. But yeah, I think we're pretty much good to get into it. So what are you looking for help with today?
Yeah, so I'll give you a baseline
Sure.
kind of what I'm looking for right now. So I've been playing, for a decent amount of time, and I got to like a pretty good point pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was grinding a lot. But I hit a point where I stopped improving, and a lot of that came down to I was playing just to play.
Okay.
And a lot less focus, practice, and at some point, had like I have developed like hand issues.
Okay.
So I've been trying to figure out how to maximize the amount of time that I have to really improve how I play. Um, and so I'm trying to. This is like an effort to get a different look at what I'm doing, figure out different ways to improve, and then just more efficient use of my time.
Okay.
My like if I have a goal right now, I have I have an arcadian coming up next month.
Okay.
In a couple weeks. And I want to do slightly better than I did last time, or I want to do a good amount better than I did last time. But
And how did you do last time?
I what did I do? I got out of pools second, or no, third. It was three people got out of the pools into
Like a round robin pool?
yeah,
Okay.
and then so I got out of pools, started in losers, and then I ran into I think after one win, a Falcon that was pretty good. That kind of had got upset early, and I lost to that.
Okay.
But I feel like I could do a lot better than that.
How
I
do you?
had
I
some pretty good wins, but
was gonna say,
yeah.
how confident do you feel in the Marth Falcon matchup?
Marth Falcon, not super confident, but
Okay.
I don't think it's my biggest issue.
Okay.
My biggest matchup issue is Sheik,
Okay.
by far.
Sure.
And like and some floaties.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
we could talk about that. Sure.
and so I have yeah. I was gonna say I have some VODs from yesterday. I went to a local and I got two sets. It was a Marth vs Sheik and a Marth vs Fox.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely talk about Marth versus Sheik. I think that's definitely one that's a little bit easier to talk about
Mm-hmm.
than Marth versus Fox. I think Marth versus Fox, I'm sure you can agree, is like it's really complicated just because of like how many different playstyles there are with Fox and how many
Yeah.
different options he has at a given time. But I think Sheik has a lot more like weaknesses as a character, which are more exploitable, which makes it kind of easier to talk about in an analysis situation. For more so for like changing how you view the matchup. So you could definitely link the Marth Sheik VOD. We could take a look at that today. I will get ready for you while we do that. I'm just gonna leak DMs here on the recording.
Yeah.
You'll see it in a second, or I guess when you watch it back. But this is like typically my game plan that I have for Sheik. And I'm gonna talk to you about it before we actually watch it. So I'll share my screen so you can see where my mouse is while we go through it.
Mm-hmm.
But typically speaking, this is what I'm looking for against Sheik. So this is an example of like a simple game plan that I give a lot to my students. This isn't to say this is the comprehensive like full thing in it, but I do think that I do think these are like objective truths for like how you beat Sheik and things to avoid against her. So an example of this, like, what is Sheik's biggest weaknesses? Sheik is very, and I structure this in terms of like, this is your end goal, and then these are ways you can kind of meet that with through her weaknesses. So you'll kind of see what I mean while I read it out. But basically, the biggest thing you're looking for against Sheik is to get her off stage, because once she's off stage, she's very simple to edge guard, and you can rack up a ton of damage, or just straight up kill her with F smash or down smash, right? In order to do that, you want to juggle Sheik, and she cannot contest you vertically in the air whatsoever. When you throw Sheik above you, right, think about it, just her falling straight on Marth. Her down air will not beat up air, it won't beat up tilt. So with that in mind, you have to stay underneath her, and that's your biggest thing. Why that's really easy to do is because she has very bad horizontal drift, which makes it very easy to stay underneath her. Another example of a character with bad horizontal drift would be Luigi. If you ever up throw Luigi, you might notice that he doesn't actually drift far to the left or right. He's pretty slow as a character compared to like Fox or Puff or something. And Sheik is the same, just not, but for like the actual top tiers, she's the one that has bad horizontal drift. But it's not that hard to stay underneath her. And generally speaking, you can either keep hitting her up in the air, or you can just, if she's going in front of you, you can just F smash her or like forward air, and she doesn't really have many tools to deal with that. So yeah, anyway, all this to say, you want to keep Sheik up in the air so that she's forced to drift away because you keep juggling her. And then at that point, she's very easy to edge guard. How do you get her up in the air? Sheik relies a lot on tilts, and she's very prone to getting CC'd. So you can often fish for like down tilt, up tilt, crouch cancel grab, like almost everything that Sheik does. And it's like very, very reliable to get those. So that's how I write like Sheik's weaknesses. And I write these from both perspectives, right? This is why these things are bad for Sheik. This is why these things are good for you, right? It's the same. It's really the same thing written twice. But I think it's important to have that. So yeah, basically, I'm just going to read it really quick. But same thing. Staying away from Sheik's range, tipper distance allows you to crouch cancel safely. So this is how you get a crouch cancel. You could juggle Sheik with up air and up tilt, which she can't contest you vertically in the air. You could stay underneath her easily where she can't contest it, so she's forced to either drift far away. Like I said, she's really bad drift, so that's really easy to do, stay underneath her. And then once she is underneath, once you are underneath her, you can hit her off stage or loses moves like F smash grab, F tilt, forward air, etc. And then you keep her off stage, which is her biggest weakness. She's simple to edge guard, racks up a ton of damages. So those are like the main things you're looking for against Sheik, right? This is like your basic game plan. This doesn't change no matter how good the Sheik player is, how bad they are. You always want these things. So that's why I write these lines here. So when you're doing VOD review, if you know these to be like the objective truths, that's the matchup. What can I do to make this happen? Or if I'm losing, what is going wrong in my game where this isn't happening, right? Sometimes this is the better question to go with, more often than not, even though it has it's more negative sounding than this one. But more often than not, if you do just have a bad habit, like you're double jumping in bad spots where you shouldn't be, then this doesn't become really a possibility, right? So that, I feel like that makes sense. Yes? Yeah. Okay. Just making sure I don't want to ramble too long where you don't get the opportunity to speak or anything. And at any point, feel free to shut me up.
I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of a lot of this. This is like just kind of the core things that I've done a good amount of reading and like understanding of like the matchup. It's really like putting it into practice and then figuring out what I'm doing wrong.
So would you say you are already very familiar with the second part of it?
Yeah.
Of like avoiding Sheik stuff?
I feel like let me just read through this again just to make sure.
So these are the strengths and negatives for her. Yeah.
I think I have a pretty good understanding of this.
No, that's great. So then we can move on pretty quickly then, because usually for a first time session, like I said, this is mostly what we're going over. So that's great. If you get that, that's awesome. We can move on. So let me open up the VOD here, and we can just jump into it. Because yeah, I know you're not bad at the game or anything. I'm just trying to make sure we have like
I get it.
fundamental like understanding together. Okay. So you can see my screen, right? The full screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's jump into it. So again, oh, sorry, go ahead. Okay, gotcha.
This is somebody I've played a lot as well. This is a common matchup. He has the probably at the moment 66 or 70% win rate against me.
Okay.
So there's like we have like understanding of like our tendencies. So there's some specific things here.
Okay. So yeah, like the usage of down tilt, down throw from the beginning is great. Unfortunately, you just get like CC grabbed here, which is kind of like a thing. One thing I was going to say right here, CC grabbed.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I was going to say while you guys were hand warming is truthfully, I think this is pretty close to the range that you'd be wanting to play against Sheik anyway. Okay. So it's just a pretty good example of like the spacing anyway. So I don't think the hand warmer is completely useless right now, but just the way you guys are moving around each other, it's hand warmers are honestly like underrated just for the fact that you can kind of use it as an idea of like, how's this person moving when I get close to them this way? No, they're not going to react defensively, but you can kind of get an idea of like, are they doing anything in this range kind of thing? Like if they have little tells or something. So ideally, yeah, this like range a little bit back here when they're not dash attacking, this is pretty much the range you want to play Marth Sheik from. It's right outside of her dash attack range. It's just enough where if Sheik tries to commit with anything, you poke her. And you can weave in and out of it pretty well. Personally, I'll even play it a little bit closer, like maybe one character distance in, just because it's still outside of F tilt range and her boost grab range a little bit. But those two options, dash attack and grab, are very, very committal for her to do, right? So then it's really easy to kind of weave in and out of that. While at the same time, if I throw it a down tilt on like something like forward tilt or her down tilt, it'll just beat it outright, right? So that's more often than not the range that I'm looking to play neutral at. And then it's just, that's like I said, doesn't mean you're winning from there. It's just your neutral spot. So yeah, you can kind of play it from there. Whereas like when I'm watching you play at just the beginning of this first interaction, it keeps the space between you guys at first, but then when you're doing your down tilts, they're really, really close to Sheik, right?
Yeah.
So getting a grab on Sheik at low percent is like pretty good, but honestly, like it's not your biggest thing, right? Like you got a grab here and you get what? One regrab? Maybe two? Yeah, okay. Zero, yeah. And like 3% maybe or something, right? Like not too much. Versus if you were to get a down tilt at that spot, you get 10, and then you're like one hit away from just being able to just straight up throw combo her, right? So at the lower percents, I'm not saying don't go for grab, because grab is objectively like a good thing to hit. It's just don't make grab your main like bread and butter for low percent. This is a poking matchup for sure, where weaving in and out of each other's ranges is really important and not giving each other a disadvantage. And unfortunately, just being close to Sheik is just Marth in disadvantage in this case. So that's one thing to look out for sure. Here, not sure how much thought was put behind this up air. Not saying you're dumb or anything. Just like
that's a
it's an up tilt.
It's miss wave dash up tilt.
Okay, yeah, I can see that then, because I get it.
No, actually, no, that up air. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the full hop over. I went for the up air on purpose there. I was trying to get the sweet spot on it.
Okay. So when you throw Sheik up on a platform here, it is a guaranteed like tech chase at lower percents for sure, and it's totally valid. Like maybe not literally zero, because she won't be into tumble and then she doesn't get an actual tech chase, but generally like 10% if you get an up throw here, that's honestly like so much better than a down throw, right? Because then you get a tech chase on a platform. But when she's at 27 or 26 is the number I use. I really like the number 26 against Sheik and Falcon. Whether it be high port or low port, it doesn't really matter. There are certain ranges where up tilt will just connect on both of them. And 26 seems to be like the magic number for me. And against those two characters, I just find that their grab flow charts are like so like unneedlessly complicated. I'll try and like find one number for both of them and kind of like simplify it to that. So 26 is my number for up throw up tilt for those guys. And I think regardless of you get them on a platform or not, up tilt will just combo a little better on Sheik than it does just like a falling up air. Because up air at least gives her the opportunity to get like slide off or something if she's close enough. Now, granted, I don't think this one is really like close to slide off, but it's still just like kind of more of an awkward up air to hit versus like just straight up tilt here, which then will pop her in the air. And like the gameplay, it says the biggest thing you're looking for against Sheik is get her in the air above you. So I just think up tilt's a little better. Up tilt or off, in the air or off stage. I think up tilt just works a little better. You get more off it than a weak up air. So yeah, anyway, 26 is my magic number. I would recommend trying to keep in line with that. Okay, so forward air, down air, that was tricky, sorry. Is a good down air. Though I do think she could have jumped out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But she didn't actually have a jump here, so then it's actually good to go for, Because I don't know if you saw, but double jump, air dodge, didn't land.
The air dodge, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, good down air. Okay, moving on. So weaving in a lot here against her invincibility. One thing I'm typically a little bit more wary against Sheik is how to play with her invincibility. This is I think something that's actually like really important against her and Falcon in particular. So those two matchups I think are really important, but it's just because Sheik isn't faster than Marth, but she has like deceptive rages compared to him sometimes, right? Like down tilt requires a little bit more setup than like Sheik's dash attack does, if that makes sense. So I really don't like being grounded and like kind of weaving in and out between her too much. I'll typically prefer now, if I'm playing against Sheik, just to go on a platform and shield. The exception of that being Pokemon Stadium, just because she has the no impact land. But yeah, I would just be a little wary of doing this like run in between on stocks. I mean, you get away with it, so it's not bad to say. It wasn't the wrong choice here. But I do think you just have like safer invincibility, like recovery options, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think that probably is just going to be safer in general.
Yeah. Okay, so plan the landing here. So yeah, I definitely think here's just a drop tech chase. Go ahead.
So like here's like a situation where it's a little ambiguous because if I know this correctly, like up tilt will cover tech in place and miss tech, but like a short hop up air is the only way to cover, I think, the tech away, right? And that's what he did. So it's like, do you like go for options that cover like, do you think this is reactable, or is this something where you need to make a prediction?
I think in this spot, this is reactable. And I think you can like option select here in this spot, given just where you are, where you're starting the up throw from. I would opt for up air here in general, but I would just react to where she's going, because tech in place and tech away here are going to get hit by the same up air, right? The only thing you would have to account for a little bit is once you turn around, because I think you do turn around here, because you go for up tilt here instead. But if you were to go for up air here, the only thing you have to account for while you're jumping is just drifting a little bit closer to the left so that you get the tipper hitbox of up air, because you don't want the weak hit, because then you get slide off DI'd and punished directly for it.
Yeah.
But as long as you get the low tipper, you're perfectly fine to do that. So I would option select up air, just given the position of where you started the grab. Otherwise, if you get an awkward grab like you do here, where this one's a little bit harder to hit because you're a little bit more right leaning towards the platform. So now she has the ability to just avoid it completely, right? Where I think on the other grab she didn't. This one I think is trickier, and based on the percent, I would typically avoid this up throw, and I would just opt for like down throw or F throw. I know you started from the left side, so I would probably just down throw and go for the tech chase. But like I said, 26 is my number that I know for sure works. I think technically, because you're port 4, up tilt will start as early as 22. Yeah. But yeah, one regrab, you'll be at 26 anyway. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Okay.
I will typically try to never up throw Sheik unless it's a guaranteed up platform follow-up. or she's above 26%. That's like my go-to rule for percents for the matchup. Okay, so good double jump read here. It's just a little slow on it. Just fine. Okay. Here, this up tilt isn't bad, right? Because you do win the interaction here. But I do think this is like a bad thing for Sheik to like run off and do here in general, is this run off platform like this. Because think about it from the Marth perspective of if you were to shield here instead. Like you jump here, so obviously it's like a little bit more awkward. You have less time to get in the air. But if you were to shield here, Sheik has to land on you with a high fair, right? If she does a low fair, super, super long time, and then that up tilt that you do becomes a lot better. But more often than not, when they're coming off here and you're close like this, they're just going to rip a fair as soon as possible because like it's just a scrap kind of thing for Sheik. When she's close to this fair spacing, more often than not, they're going to be scrapping. So the up tilt works here, but I think in general, this is like a really good position to bait out a shield grab, especially after the needle and all that. Like needle, run off, instant fair, like, and then into jab or something. Like that just seems like too much for Sheik players in general to kind of be like really cognizant and like perfect spacing and timing on. So I do think when you're close to a platform like this, it's actually perfectly fine just to like bait a shield grab. But yeah, the up tilt works, so it's fine. And then yeah, good tech chase. So this is good. Okay. So yeah, invincibility thing, like I said before, but no need to like pause and go over that over and over. Okay, good retreat to center here. That's something that's really big that a lot of people will get caught up on.
You go for the close down tilt again though.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just a spacing thing, but yeah. So grab, re-grab. There, I would have up thrown, but what would you have done? Just to
I was gonna up throw,
okay.
But I have a bad habit of pummeling.
Okay. That's no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think up throw, just like here, up throw again, because like that's it's the platform. But there, like this up throw, I'd probably say no for this one.
Exactly. That was probably questionable because that becomes if you DI back, I can't cover it.
Exactly. So yeah, like basically like your whole game plan against Sheik, like I said, is to kind of keep a little bit of a distance between you guys and weave in and out of her dash attack and boost grab range. You want to make her commit a lot, and that kind of lets you get a bunch of easy grabs. I'm gonna go back here because that's something I want to talk about too. But in general, like if you can't get a good throw follow up on her and you're not confident in your tech chase, at the very least just hold center like you were here a second ago when she was shielding over here. You did just like a run through or something. I'm not going to go back too much because it's not that important to show an example, but generally speaking, keeping her in the corner or above you is like awful for her. She's terrified of it. So that's like what you're looking for instead of like a run up down tilt. Okay, so here this up throw is actually really awkward. This is what I wanted to talk about. This one's an awkward up throw. Usually at 30, I'm hoping that they're going to DI in or out. 30 is the 30s in general are just like up throw fair, like up throw tipper fair, and then you can play off that. But this one's kind of awkward. This one is the one you actually have to look out for a little bit because up throw instant fair, she'll double jump above it. Or sorry, up throw instant up air, she'll double jump above it. And if you delay it just a bit, you have to you'll get a weak hit, and then she gets out of that, right? And it's not really that great to hit. So what I recommend when you're at the 30s-ish and Sheik does neutral DI, do an instant double jump, but at that point you're just reacting to how she's doing, like how she's falling, right? Here you get away with fair, but like she could easily CC this fair, right? And probably F tilt you out of it, if I'm being honest.
She was in the air when the fair hit, but it could have been reversaled.
Yeah. Right. I think she could have even like ASDI down off the fair.
ASDI down.
Yeah. So the point that I'm trying to make though is like instead of dash back fair here, if you just do an instant double jump, right? And then you're already threatening like up air here, right here. So if she keeps falling, then you just get the up air like normal, whatever. But if she double jumps, you could just chase her double jump, right? And then that's even worse for her now is Sheik up in the air above Marth without a double jump, right? And then she's like the game plan says forced to drift off stage, then she gets edge guarded, then she dies, right? So This 31 is just a little bit awkward for the up throw up air to connect, but worth knowing, just because it is like a little bit of a trick almost. Okay, so down throw here. Down throw is questionable in my opinion. Like you could like rip an F smash here and hit her, but why I don't like it is just because the punish isn't really guaranteed. At the 40s, you can get like rack up to 100 like for free. So I would probably just opt to up throw in most spots when it's like the mid 40s range, because more often than not they're ready to just not get hit by like down throw F smash or down throw down tilt. And that's just like a huge like punish opportunity lost in my opinion.
Yeah. Go back for if you don't mind, the last two interactions. So like here's like an area that I've looked at. Like so I get off the ledge here and I go to the ledge twice here. So
Yep.
I'm able to punish that, but I don't think it was true at all. And then there was one before that as well, I think. Yeah, like that one right there. So like this edge guard, like I feel like I should be getting more off of this.
Yeah,
right?
you definitely could. I think here you just hesitated on the ledge. You have to keep in mind because you have neutral get up, you're invincible for a little longer, right? The slow get up. So like you would have been invincible for that whole poof. You wouldn't have got hit by it. Then you could have like F smash, up tilted, whatever. So that first one definitely is just a matter of being a little bit too late. Here, right?
Yeah.
Here, honestly, I think same thing, except this one's a little harder because she's doing it close and you're still on the ledge. I think this one's just kind of like an awkward one. Sometimes Sheik just does make it back, but if you were a little bit quicker, maybe then you can get an up tilt. But again, like it's kind of a little bit awkward because she's like further in and you're just kind of at a bad spot at over 100. So it's kind of one of those things.
Usually opting for like, oh, I mean that was a lucky one, but like get up it or like get up or regular get up, or are you trying to like wave dash in those situations ever, or like opt from ledge up air to cover that?
For higher percents, I'll typically try and ledge dash on if they're not close, but this spot was a little awkward just because she's right on top of you with it. So then you kind of just don't get the ability to do that. So yeah, it's kind of just one of those things where this is a spot where she just makes it back almost if you're not like really, really tight on it. In general, if she's like further out, I kind of try and like look at where she is relative to the ledge and like see how she's drifting to dictate if she's going to try and land in this tight corner or the ledge. Because from there, like if I think she's going to be just on stage normally, I'll just roll, and then if she lands on a platform, I don't care, I'll walk up and F smash her kind of thing. But it's like this range ish where I'm more worried about.
Okay.
Because she can land here, she can land here, or she can land on the ledge. On the ledge is obviously the one you want to cover the most, so more often than not, this isn't really a problem. But it's just a little space between like here where a roll tipper F smash will hit, or a roll tipper F smash won't hit if she lands like right on the ledge. Ways you can beat that though, just walk up down tilt, kind of puts her in an awkward spot. She'll be on the ledge, sure, but you don't really have to be too scared of Sheik on the ledge. She's still in the corner, and that's still bad for her. The only thing you'd have to respect is like the wave dash F tilt range or wave dash dash attack, which is about like here-ish. But again, she has such bad horizontal drift. It's not like Fox or Falco or something where they can just jump up side B and now they're playing again. Sheik is stuck in the corner when she has the ledge, so she's not that scary off it. But yeah.
Okay.
That's on the one case where you can't cover her landing.
Yeah.
But yeah, more often than not, yeah, you can just roll Punisher. Okay, so playing low percent, get an up air here, good retreat. Okay, I think here's a little awkward. Just to me, if I'm the Sheik late here, I can tell just like you have a tell of I want to get a grab here, because you get like good percent here early on with the nair. The nair here, up air, you drift back, right, and then it's just kind of one of those things like, oh, my opponent's coming off the platform, I'm gonna dash dance with Punisher, and she's trying to beat that, right, with her back air wall into grab, like she's trying to bait a shield grab, but your movement kind of shows it too, right? You do the little dash dance for it, you're stuck in place, you're grabbing, then you're coming back in, so it's a little bit easier. I think if you just waited here a little bit, sure, you're stuck in the corner, but at least you don't have that tell as much.
Okay.
Because I think that's very important against Sheik. Just don't let her get close to
I
your
could
grab.
probably just like sit there and crouch.
Yep.
There is the risk they just run up
Yep, but
grab
again,
her.
like when you're playing the neutral range, that's a huge commitment for her to do. So at that point, it's just an
Yeah.
outplay. But more often than not, you can bait her to do that grab, and then that's terrifying for her, right? The main things you want to bait from Sheik at most distances, like it's a lot more obvious on FD because there's some platforms in the mix. But once you start playing that range a little better, um, dash attack and or the dash attack grab mix up is just like so bad for her to do that all of a sudden she has to rely on like aerials or tilts, and those just get like ruined by like dash dance grab or like F smash just straight up or down tilt or any of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that point it's just kind of an outplay and you just kind of have to deal with it, but it's not to say the outplay isn't like undoable kind of thing. Okay, so weird juggle here. I would personally opt when I get in this spot, when I get a weak hit up air, I'm just playing the ground game now. I'm covering her
Okay.
landing kind of thing. I wouldn't
Yeah.
jump back up.
I think I'm going just reaching for too much there.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things. You got such a big lead. You're hitting Sheik fine. It's understandable. Here you can up tilt this.
Yeah.
Just hesitation. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay, forward air. How do you recover? Okay, awkward, but not right idea. You just probably could have gone on stage kind of thing. This is one of those things where I think you're doing your recovery a little too low based on what she's doing, right? It's a mix up, of course, of like, is Sheik gonna poof? But when you go low like this early, when Sheik's just getting to the ledge, it just makes it like really easy for her. Because like from her perspective, she could even just like wait and roll here. She's at 100.
Mm-hmm.
What you're looking to bait Sheik to do a lot of the time when you're coming back on recovery is come out and hit you with back air, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, she just rinse repeats. And the only thing you can look for is hitting her when she doesn't get her invincibility, right? You don't want to let her get back on stage, grab you, rinse repeat the edge guard. So, yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I think I just got scared. He dipped a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think I default to low too much as well.
I think it's just one of those things where, like, they're not at the ledge yet, but you go low first, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I'm not
So
saying...
I'm already low there. I'm already low there. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, this is awkward, but good down tilt. I would say here, be careful of this top platform thing. You can't run in on Sheik here because then you get needled. But you get the SDI and get a down tilt out anyway, so it works. But yeah, just be careful of that little like platform mix
Yeah,
up
I
she'll
get
like
caught
to
by
do.
that needle a lot. So like that first like drop down needle, I got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that usually like ends up with me getting grabbed.
Yeah.
So instead, what should I just be staying under my platform if they're moving around like that, or?
I have played a set recently against a Sheik player named Fable, and I found a lot of success with when they're doing this. You just dash dance like you're like almost like you're trying to cover like a fox doing a full hop kind of thing.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, the idea is that she can't stay up there and she has nothing to threaten you with. Meanwhile, you always have full hop up air in your pocket, so that if she does jump, like then the juggler game just kind of like restarts kind of thing. So you're really just waiting for her to come down, and then it's basically just a mix up of like what are you doing off the platforms from there, right? So like when she does the needles here, it's kind of awkward spot for her, but she has to do it coming down from here. It's not really something she can threat from the side platform so easily. And you just don't have to approach her basically. You just wait, dash dance. And you just play neutral, right? This is kind of like when like Puff is camping with backer or the Falco shooting laser in the corner. It's kind of one of those things where it's just kind of like a stalemate. You just got to show that you're not going to fall for it, and then you get to play neutral after that once they get down. Yeah, I think that situation is basically just like a stalemate. Like you just kind of wait. It sucks, but it is what it is. Like if they want to play like that, sure. Because you can at least threaten, right? Like after they shoot the needles here, you might want to aim so that your down tilt isn't covering it. But like you can always threaten if they're gonna drift back like this, like wave dash back or like dash dance, wave dash in down tilt kind of thing, or like dash dance grab, whatever, or just dash dance over here. And like I said, when you do the dash dance over here and she's here, huge commitment for her to run in and grab or dash attack, and that's what you're looking to bait out mostly. If she gets it, it's a total outplay. But again, you have the ability to dictate the pace at this range, not her. Okay. So here you could have grabbed the ledge instead of down tilting here.
Yeah, that just need to work on movement, get the ledge there. I
Yep.
think I was just not confident in that type of scenario.
Question for you though: why are you starting Battlefield against Sheik?
Uh, I like Battlefield. I don't like FOD very much. Um, I guess
Personally,
that's the answer.
I think the platforms are really benefit Sheik in this on this stage. I think if she gets a throw on this stage, or if most of her tilts at most percents, will either knock you up on the platform where she gets an easy tech chase, and if they don't, you're high enough where it's going to combo anyway. So for me, I actually really don't like the stage against Sheik that much. I think it's just kind of awkward a lot of the time. And like I said, like the needle thing just becomes like a little bit more of like a stalemate. But on Fountain and Yoshi's, I don't think that's the case. In my opinion, this is Sheik's second best stage in the matchup, just because of the platform heights, and it's a little bit awkward for you to edge guard her a little bit. Granted, she doesn't have a wall to like do like ledge shot back air against, but still, I do think Yoshi's and Fountain are more in your favor. That you have enough room to kind of play around her on that. So I would personally opt for Yoshi's or Fountain. I personally think Fountain is like really good for Marth. I actually don't even think it's neutral. I think Marth just straight up wins on it.
Okay.
But it's mostly just because like even on the low platforms, and when there's no platforms, like it's just really good for him. And Sheik is not scary on the top platform. If anything, it gives her an out to kind of like recover against a juggle more often than not. But Fountain's top platform is smaller than Battlefield, so you get to cover the whole top platform with up airs sometimes. So it's just really good. I think Fountain, you pretty much play it like you play on Battlefield. It's not that different, but I think it's just better. Like I think it just works more in Marth's favor. The only real positive Sheik has on Fountain is just sometimes the platforms make
Yeah.
combos easier if they're high, or if she gets the recovery mix up of the wall jump back air. But even then, like that just loses to like let go drop down fair, if that makes sense. Like not even double jump, just like let go fair. So yeah, I really don't. I really think Fountain's like a pretty good stage for Marth in this matchup. Yoshi's I'm like iffy on, but I lean towards it's good and not bad.
I like Yoshi's FOD. I think forgot about that. FOD, I think my biggest thing that I saw the problem that I play a lot out of shield.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah,
get on like uh I get on the platforms and I hold shield, I just get shield poked over and over again. And so um that's I think my issue with FOD.
the
But
great issue with Fountain is that you at least get like shield drop opportunities a lot more because your range is
mhm.
really big on the platforms. So like shield drop like drift away like fair or dare just becomes a little bit stronger because you're not in the air as long, but you still cover a massive range. So it's really not that bad. But I do agree that you do have the habit. I saw it when in the sub tournament of playing out of shield a little too much. So that I can totally understand. But I think in general, you have enough space on Fountain that you don't have to be locked into shield more often than not. So that could probably be just an issue in and of itself.
Yeah.
I would recommend trying to get more comfortable on Fountain instead of Battlefield. Even though if you are comfortable on Battlefield, it's good because in a best of 5, this will be her second counter pick other than Dreamland.
Yeah. I think that's probably the right choice. I know that I get counter picked. I mean they brought me back here, so
Yeah, exactly. It's not a bad stage for her. It's just, was this best of 3, I'm assuming?
yeah.
Yes, okay, so you've been Dreamland. So yeah, they'll go Battlefield every time. Um, okay, one thing I want to talk about really quick is I do think you are playing a little too close to Sheik here, this stock. Um, Same thing we talked about in the first one with down tilt. I do think dash dancing is like really good against Sheik. You have better movement than her, and I don't think you really exploit that enough against her. One trap I think a lot of Marth players like fall into in this matchup is they'll try and match Sheik's rhythm, which isn't necessarily bad for when she's like jumping or doing like weird movement. But I think in general for like just stray like closing in the distance, like widening the gap kind of thing, I think it's better just to have like long dash dances but like tight movement in between them, if that makes sense. Because you in this matchup, being grounded is objectively better than being in the air for both character sides. But the benefit that Marth has is that he's able to control the ground much easier. The only tool Sheik really has is her burst range of dash attack and boost grab, and needles to kind of pressure it. But if you have fluid movement, the word I like to use is if you're able to stay like slippery against Sheik and just kind of weave in and out of her ranges consistently and make her like feel threatened, she's more often than not able to, willing or forced, I guess, to commit to those awkward spacings, like I said. And that way you don't have to play like a guessing down tilt game. You can really just kind of dash dance and force something out of her. Like I'll often just dash dance and Sheiks will get annoyed and like throw out a run up tilt, and then I'll just like do a like in place forward air, and then they feel stupid for doing it, right? And that's when they'll start trying to bait CC or whatever, and then down tilt becomes a little stronger. But I think you're often doing like a wave dash forward in down tilt as like an approach in this matchup, right? Like that.
Yeah, the run up.
And I think like it's working here. But if this Sheik was more like willing to crouch cancel, like they crouch cancel that one, but they just got a little bit awkward of it. If the Sheik is more willing to crouch cancel, or they're a jumpy Sheik and they like just like spamming back air or forward air in your face, approaching down tilt just really isn't it. Like I said, you want to play the range of the just outside forward tilt, but kind of in and out of the dash attack boost grab range. And run up forward tilt just doesn't kind of align with that unless you're doing it from really, really far away. So that's one thing I think is a massive thing you could just like iron out. Otherwise, honestly, I don't think, I know you said you're like kind of lost against Sheik. You don't feel like you know what you're doing, but I feel like you're doing pretty good against her, to be honest. I think it's just one thing where you're giving her like easier openings than you need to by overcommitting, right? Like you're consistently running in and approaching a Sheik.
Yeah, so I think it shows a bit more in this game and then game 3 that I think one of the biggest issues I have with Sheik is ending stocks. And I actually, this set with like, I don't get that like every single time where I just get like a big tipper, that.
Yeah, no, you missed a couple like earlier in this stock even.
Like
that. Run up down smash, or you did a run up F smash earlier in the corner here too.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, what you were saying, sorry.
No, anyways, I just end up in a lot of games where I'm like fighting the Sheiks until like 150%.
Yeah, so
I get a good amount. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting a good amount of openings in neutral.
No,
like,
you are.
It's not ideal, but like.
No, but you actually are. I think beating the Sheik in neutral pretty hard. It's just I think you're overcommitting on approach a little bit too much. Like. There's the whiff dash down, or holy crap, forward smash. I can't even speak English today. And yeah, you're clearly fishing right now, right? Like, oh, my smash attacks are missing. Okay, I'll grab, right? Like you're really simplifying it at this point. I feel like once you're getting a higher percent, you're not really like you are approaching Sheik. Even let's start from this whiff F smash, or I think you double whiff and F smash actually. I'm just gonna make sure. F smash, right? Grab, F smash, grab. Here you start playing normal again, right? The nair. Maybe this like run up like fair and running at Sheik isn't the best, but you're at least playing a little bit. But then like down smash again, right? What I think you need to do a high percent, similar to what the game plan says, kind of, right? Sheik's biggest weakness here is that she just dies when you edge guard her, right? That's like a guarantee. Sometimes she can make it back, sure. But that's if she like makes a read on how you're going to edge guard her. And even then, the risk reward ratio is in your favor of like, I'm going to give a number of like 80-20. Like it's like 4 out of 5 times you will kill Sheik, which is way more than like run up raw F smash where you have to guess so many different things, right? And you don't risk dying if Sheik makes it back. You just reset and she's in the corner. It's still a bad spot for her. So the way you get her in an edge guard position where you kill her is you have to get her in the air, or you have to make her drift and force her off stage. I think more often than not, when Marth has to just raw commit and do a smash attack like this, that's a sign of a losing matchup, right? That's what low tiers have to do. And I think Marth just kind of doesn't have to play this run of F smash. It's certainly an option and it's a mix up, but I think you're forcing the mix up a little too hard here. If you just commit to playing your game plan of like, I'm just going to play like normal and one hit's going to put Sheik off stage, she just dies, right? So I think it's just one of those things where like you're a little too excited or antsy to get the kill. and you're kind of throwing your game plan away. But otherwise, yeah, I would agree that you're actually beating the Sheik pretty bad. It's just the punishes aren't like nearly as strong as they could be, and the finishes aren't there either. But I think this is really just like a matter of punish game for the most part, with the exception of like a couple like misplays or bad habits. But
I don't know what the side B was, honestly.
yeah, should have been up air. Right?
Yeah, it's obviously up there. I don't know what really happened.
Yep, it's fine. Here again, I wouldn't run across the stage and rip a smash attack like this. Probably down tilt.
I know this one. I know he's gonna slide off.
Okay.
That's like a habit thing.
Sure. Here, hesitating to grab the ledge. I wouldn't do this full hop against Sheik. I would just wave dash back and grab it.
Okay.
It's a little quicker, and it makes it ambiguous as to like whether or not you're just gonna like wave dash out and hit her. More often than not, you probably won't ever do the wave dash out back air, but it stops her from like being threatened by it. If she stops respecting and starts like doing like dash attack or forward air to kind of stuff that out, then unironically like run up smash attack actually works. But yeah, here you can down throw regrab, you can up tilt throw it back on. In my opinion, up B is not the end of the world, but I do think most Marths will tell you that putting her back off stage is more worth it. But you kill her if she doesn't get this. So it's really just an execution test, whether or not you want to do that or a rinse and repeat. That's your call.
Yeah, Slick's very good with arms attacking. So I knew I knew that, I knew it was the wrong option.
Okay, so yeah, then maybe just in general, more rinse and repeat's probably better against them until you can get a good one, like a good up B spacing. Okay, so grab the ledge here. Okay, this one is a little awkward. There's a certain range I feel like where Sheik, like here especially, because she drifts in with this, right? So you can tell it when she's starting up her up B here. She travels a far distance when she's going, so that means she's drifting in, right? At this spot where she has to go a little bit up and she doesn't really have the ability to snap to ledge here, I would do ledge hop nair actually and just aim to hit the second hit only, so she can't CC or ASDI downwards. But nair will send her just back out here without a jump and she'll die. So okay. Yeah, this little like spot where it's kind of awkward sometimes.
Are you trying to like nair onto like?
Yeah, nair onto
stage. Okay. Yeah.
And then you just aim for the second hit only, whether you hit it with like the back of Marth's head or like the actual sword part. More often than not, I'm actually hitting it on Marth's body, like here-ish, but like when I'm nairing onto stage kind of thing. But it'll just push her right back off because you get the reverse hitbox and she dies. And it's not a difficult thing to hit. Like it's pretty easy in practice. But yeah, nair is good there if you get second hit only. Down tilt, good. This is a trick. I'm sure you know that she's going to roll here anyway, just because the fact you hit 2, she's going to do something. But one thing Sheiks love to do out of the corner, it's like a very bad Sheik player habit. They love rolling and then doing either grab or down smash or jab. One of the two. But like one of the quick moves, basically, that will kill Marth, hopefully, if he's not a low percent like you are right now. But they always do this roll because it goes so far, right? Like literally to the other side of the platform from the dead corner. Like Sheik's roll is really long, and they abuse that super hard. Sheik's roll in the corner so often. So when you're doing down tilt pressure like this is like the main thing you're looking for, honestly, other than a jump. Because more often than not, they know not to jump if they're good at the game. They'll start doing this roll, and this roll is so bad. Sheik players do this a ton, and so do Ice Climber players. Ice Climber players do the exact same roll in this spot, where they just try and roll behind you, and except Ice Climbers players will do it even more in neutral. Sheik doesn't really have to, but Ices don't really have great movement, so they'll do the roll. But this roll is terrible, because all they're looking to do is hold down and then hit you really quick. So all you have to do is when you're down tilting, react to this roll. Just do like pivot fair, turn around grab, whatever you want to do. You can even do turn around up B and hard read it if you wanted, but yeah, this roll is actually really bad. And every Sheik player does it. Like it's an insane percentage of the amount that people do it, all the way up to top 100. Like it's ridiculous. So yeah, be aware of that roll. It's an awful habit, and so many people do it. I don't know why they do it, to be honest. I feel like they don't even have to play that mix up, but I think it's just because their roll is good. They have like bad, like low level player habit to like actually like, it's just one they haven't broken yet because it works so often. Most people aren't ready for it. Because it is like awkward to hit, but if you're looking for it, it's not hard at all. Okay, so I want to talk about this. So this forward air is good, but I think set some expectations when you get a forward air like this, right? The slide off forward air here,
Mm-hmm.
more often than not, like even if you thought he was going to slide off here, it's still like a really big commitment in my opinion. Because if you get like a weak forward air, sometimes they just land and shield on it, right? Like they just literally land on the platform and they can shield. I would do the forward air and probably just wait here just to be safe.
Okay.
But yeah, whenever I get a weak hit against Sheik, if it's not like super strong, I'm less willing to like drift in. Like if I hit like a random like stray weak forward air on Sheik in the air, on like FD or something, and like some arts will just like they see the old like PPMD Mewtwo King combo at Apex, where he just spams a million fares. They start doing that, and I think just with modern Sheik, that's so scary to do it against. The risk reward is so not in your favor. Yeah, this is a good example of when to go down. But yeah, just try not to. But yeah, this one is a lot safer because she's on the ledge already, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of awkward, has to like kind of commit to something. Now, granted, you do get sent back off, but it's still like you're not dying for it completely, right? Well, you will now, but yeah. The point being, you're not dying off stage, and it at least gives you like some ability to mix it up. Because you could have instead of just drifted back and went on stage, but yeah. Anyway. Okay. Down throw and air, fair, good. Smash attack, huge commitment. So yeah, fishing, they're at high percent now, right? So that's what you gotta be looking for. Is playing like normal still, but hitting them off stage kind of thing. Okay. Weird double jump, but they don't kill you for it. Good up B. Okay, here. This is a very common situation. And just one where you have to be really careful. This spot in Marth versus Sheik, it's like the same situation spacing as neutral get up. I'm not sure if you do neutral get up. I'm pretty sure you jump. Oh no, you do. Okay. So yeah, same position, neutral get up, right? And they're gonna do either this back air into F tilt or back air into runaway grab, or they'll do back air, or instead of back air, sorry, they'll do forward air too. Same thing, forward air space forward air into jab, down tilt, sometimes just forward air grab. So you have to be really careful of jumping here, or like some people will just let go of shield and F smash. Honestly, in my opinion, this is the spot you want to be in. But if you don't find an opening from when you first get it, honestly, go back to ledge. In my opinion, is what I've been learning to do more than anything. If you're good at spacing around ledge hop, or if you're good at spacing around short hop fair at the ledge, it's really not a big deal to go back to ledge. And at least then you have the ability to do an invincible fair and like cover this range. Versus like here, she just gets the pressure, and sure you're there, but your main goal is to get back to center. You can't fight Sheik in the corner like this. It's like trying to shield grab a Falco Shine. Like you can get it sometimes, but objectively speaking, the better you get, the worse it's going to become. So just reset here, go back to ledge. It sucks. You might get ledge hop fared a lot if you're not good at doing the up B, or forcing Sheik to get out of this range. But it's just something you kind of have to do to force her to respect this range versus like actually having to fight out of it. The scrap is not worth it against Sheik. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
We go back to that edge guard there, because
Yep.
this is another spot where it's like, so I grabbed ledge. I think that's the right thing to do, but like,
Yep.
When the Sheik is like kind of on like ledge height and threatening up B and has all the angles, are you just? I know we kind of talked about it. Is this the same spot where it's just kind of awkward and you just have to give it because the platform's available, or are you looking for like a back air here?
So
Do you think there's a mix here?
yeah, this is definitely a mix-up situation where like because she has her double jump and she's able to reach you with forward air, she has that threat the whole time. At the same time, you have the threat of just like hitting back air against her, right? But in my opinion, the risk and reward is like a little skewed here. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not, depending on who throws out what first. But honestly, yeah, it is pretty awkward because if she doesn't throw out the fair and she still does that double jump close to you to kind of threaten it, when you get off the ledge, she just up Bs and regrabs it, right? So at the worst case scenario, if you play it safe, you just have her in the corner and it's still fine. But yeah, you can threaten back air here and hit her even on startup of up B. A lot of people don't know this, but Sheik actually is very vulnerable in the startup frames of her up B. You can more often than not, when you think she's going to use up B to snap to ledge, like just tip her F smasher and kill her or down tilt. And same thing with like swatting out with back air or down air off the ledge. That's a totally viable option. But one thing I think you do here that makes it like easy for her versus like playing the mix up at the very least is you get off the ledge instantly once you grab it.
Yeah.
When I play against Sheik, I will milk that invincibility as much as I can, and then I make a decision on like how I'm gonna get up from ledge, whether it be hitting her or roll or neutral get up or whatever. But because she just does this jump to you and you're not milking the invincibility, like imagine if you waited here. They would probably either go down low, which then you can just roll and react and like punish that directly, or they're gonna forward air you and miss completely, which again, then you just wait and roll, right? But because you get up here so early, it's kind of awkward, right? If you were in this spot after having invincibility for a longer time, then like I said, it's whether or not who's gonna back air or forward air here, and you probably should just give Sheik the ledge here. But you get the invincibility so close to her being near the ledge, like you could always let go back air at any point here. So for me, I try not to when I have the ability to like full milk a back air like this. You can back air, but she could also double jump outwards instead, but also milk the invincibility, because if she double jumps out, then like I said, like she just has to recover, and then you just cover her recovery. But yeah, biggest problem with this edge guard more than anything is just you didn't milk the invincibility. But yeah,
just instant get up. Yeah.
Yep, that's just kind of it. And sometimes it's just not more simple than that, right? So okay, good dash attack though. Like I said, like this range, really awkward for Sheik to come in. Like I know it's a missed, she's just slow and punching an F smash kind of thing, but it's the same idea, right? If you guys were in neutral positions, this grab is huge for her. So
yeah,
that's the biggest thing I think you're missing in neutral against Sheik, is just not playing that range effectively enough. And I don't want to be one of those people who analyze VODs and is like, yeah, just camp, haha. Like that's how you win in neutral. But you know what I mean? Like I think it actually is just like an objective fact that like this is something that you need to be working on more, because you're getting punished for it a lot or getting caught overcommitting by not playing it.
So go back to that grab. Again, this just so I got this right.
Mm-hmm.
I get this grab here. This should just be on the ground again, right? The second grab.
Second grab. Hold on. Here. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can if you want. This is like not something I would recommend like every time, but if you have the hard read that they're gonna go onto the platform here, you can always do the F throw here and get like F smash sometimes, just because she's at 10, she'll go into tumble. But like F throw tipper F smash will connect, but it's more of like a gimmick than anything. But yeah, in general, I would recommend down throw just because you're away from the platform.
Okay.
And I think like I said earlier about this top platform thing where they're doing this needle runoff thing.
Yeah, every time I run directly to the center of the stage and just get.
Yep. When you know they're gonna needle,
you
can't threaten CC even against needle. Single needle sometimes you can, but because like they're doing needle and then instant runoff air, like it's not gonna work like that. So yeah, you just gotta. It's just a stalemate situation. You just gotta kind of play around it. And then yeah, these run up down tilts, like. I'm just trying to, I know I'm not trying to harp on you this too much, but imagine if you did like wave dash down here instead, right? That down tilt's still just as threatening, but now you're not risking like getting hit like this, right? So it's just one of those things. You got to play the range, force her to overcommit or put pressure on her with down tilt. So here, the F throw is like not really recommended here, because like I said, like the 26, right? The percent 27, right? 26.
Yeah.
Up throw up tilt.
It works, but up throw should have been the option.
Even same here, I would suggest, right? If she DIs out here, the most you get is a ledge hop, but in that same situation we were talking about where you did milk the invincibility, it's going to be that same awkward timing a little bit and not necessarily a guaranteed kill. But up throw, you get a ton of damage. Thankfully, she DIs in and you get this, right? So now it's a different story. But in general, yeah, I would say up throw when you have those juicy up throw percents. Mm-hmm. Again, the 31's a little awkward. I know we talked about that too. Like if she does neutral DI, but she's clearly DIing in. So yeah. Anyway, And then here, same thing as the ledge before. You're just getting off way too quick, right? You can stay on the invincibility here, and even when you get back on, right? Ledge hop back here if you want, right? Or just milk it, stay on the ledge, grab, do the mix up. It is scary, but the same thing as like the concept of like the grab and dash attack here. It's a massive commitment for Sheik to do that double jump fair and kind of kill you, right? And it's only if they really think you're going to be slow on it. But if you show that you're just like good at the timing, more often than not, you'll actually reversal Sheik off of it. Okay. And then here, this is tough. This is just like the worst spot to be in, like edge guarded. But I think here, this was just bad drift. Yeah, you could have double jumped above this at some point. She goes low enough, right? She has nothing really to kind of...
I think I wasn't even looking at her.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the case. Okay, and then this double jump, you should die for this. Yeah. Can't double jump that early. You would just have to side B and go low. Sucks, but it's just... This is where, like, she gets her most damage off Marth. It's just when she's edge guarding him. She's tied for best edge guarder in the game with Falcon and Puff. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go through this last game a little quicker here, just because we're at an hour. But
this one, I've watched all of these.
I think this stage in particular, it's the typical Marth counter pick, and I do think it's really good. Like I will still opt to go here every time. So yeah, there you go. Look at literally at 26% up throw up tilt. It's awesome. Boom, boom. You know. Anyway, this stage is the best counter pick, but it is a slow grind. It is not like Marth versus Fox on FD where like you get a grab and that's just kind of it. Getting the grab on this stage is a lot harder in my opinion. If the Sheik is good at dealing with crouch cancel and, you know, just baiting those kind of like walling stalemate situations. Sheik will force stalemate a lot with Needle on FD when it's flat ground like this. But this is where that dash dance like spacing game I was talking about, this is where it's like it's pushed to an extreme and it's a lot easier to see it, I think. So we talked about it a lot on Battlefield, and we're not going to talk about it too much here because I think you pretty much get it at this point. But yeah, I think this stage is like an extreme example of like when to do it and when it's like very obvious when it's going bad or right. But it requires a lot of patience and discipline, like discipline especially, just to not like leave that range if you don't have to. Yeah, you hesitated here. You could have got up B before she was able to act after the get up here. Yeah, just a small hesitation. Okay, forward air. Oops. Okay, got the ledge. Yeah, you got to react to that. Okay, up air. No, forward air, sure. Okay, got the ledge. Yep. Back throw.
That was not the throw I wanted.
I was going to say, you never want back throw. I just assumed it's misinput. Okay. So, again, approaching with Nair, approaching with down tilt. YOLO up B. Okay, this is tight. But yeah, you get out, get the center. That's good. Approaching Nair, not so great. Approaching Nair, F smash. Running grab. So, like, now you're fishing, right?
Yeah.
You're getting it, but you're fishing. Okay, so dash dance. So, like, even, like, right here, right? Like, playing the neutral range. You're good, you're here, and then you're all up in her face, right? You got to be comfortable weaving in and out with the dash dance.
Yeah, right? If I just get forward tilted there,
or even grabbed, right? Like you get grabbed.
Right there.
Yeah, forward tilted here, but I'm talking about even like right here, right? Run up, you get a grab because she does like a really bad jab. But to be honest, I don't know why she didn't grab. She was invincible, you know. If she grabs you, you're in a way worse spot. At low percent at least. But yeah. Throw up tilt, they didn't jump. Not true, but you know what it is. Okay, so that. Get away, it's good. But get away F smash, right? That's a habit from the subterm I was talking about a lot. This, yeah. You have a really bad habit of that. You need to just be comfortable keeping space. But yeah. Okay, up throw. Okay, I would opt for up air here. Up air will connect until like 80%. So you got quite a bit of wiggle room for that. You just have to hit your dash once after you throw. Oh, sorry, I went back. You just have to hit your dash here. Up throw, act sooner, dash, full hop up air, and it'll hit.
So after like what percent do you usually opt for like um up air?
Instead of fair or just up air in
Or,
general?
yeah, up air for after the instead of fair for a grab because you said
Yep.
was it like 30
30,
and
the
the
30s
30s
in
is like a
general.
fairies? Yeah.
Yeah, so the 30, I will do up air on neutral DI. On away DI, I'll do fair because fair will
Okay.
pop combo into tipper fair. So it pops them up either way. Same thing pretty much as up air. But in general, anything after that, like 50 especially, I think 50 is just guaranteed up air no matter what. I would always opt for up air instead of fair unless they're fair off stage. This fair is especially not great. Or where is it? This fair is especially not great because it's fair right back to her on the center, right? Whereas if you went for up air, even if she double jumps out, she's above you and you can be directly below her and then start doing like up airs or fairs, right? But this fair just pushes her all the way over here into nothing, right? So it's kind of awkward. I would definitely recommend up air, especially past 50, but you can start going for up air technically at 30. It's just DI dependent at that point. But yeah, 50 afterwards, it's just guaranteed up air. Okay, there, let go of the ledge. I think, yeah, you're letting go of the ledge really, really early against Sheik.
Yeah, I think
You're just fishing for down air there. I get that, but yeah.
no, that one I think I mean in general I wasn't fishing for down air there. I think I was actually expecting for some reason. I mean I went for it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to hit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could have if she just double jumped a little bit more inward, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I was just trying to be safe. I'm afraid of just getting hit still. But yeah, just basically just hold on to that a little bit longer until they're really in that threat range and my
yep.
invincibility's out.
Okay, same thing, right? Invincibility,
Yeah, I
running in
dove
on
right
her.
in.
Yep. Yeah. Because honestly, I actually don't think you're bad at the Martha Sheik matchup. I think you just have a couple bad habits right now. But otherwise, I think you actually have a pretty good grasp on it. It's just a matter of like a couple punishes, but mostly like bad habits where you're not getting openings or giving her a little more openings than you need to. But honestly, like I think it'll take a little bit of practice, but very easily winnable. Here, this is a massive drop opportunity. This forward air,
Yeah, I think that was a kill.
yeah, it was. Yep.
No, there was no, so I knew there was no jump,
Yep.
but I was, it's last stock, last hit
Yep.
situation.
I totally get it. Yeah.
So I opted for
Up air. Up air is like
damage.
guaranteed. Yep. It's fine. But yeah, you definitely could have just killed and set up an edge guard.
That
And
could have been enough. Yeah.
yeah. A lot of down smash off throws I'm noticing. I know of the down smash thing, but I think you're just missing it a lot. I think maybe
Yeah, I'm
placing
missing
it
a
down
lot. I
tilt.
haven't practiced it recently. I
Yeah.
used to get it a decent amount, especially
I
against
know
some
of
like.
it, but I'm not really too much of a fan. I feel like most people don't actually get it in practice. So I would probably just opt for up throw. And that's especially this percent instead, like because you have such a huge percent lead, right? Like whiffing a down smash, if she's able to grab you, it's terrifying, right? Like
So
it's
yeah,
before
I
this.
will say like one of the nice things about it is if it is a miss, it's pretty much a
It's hard to punish, yeah, I get it.
yeah.
But it's still like one of those things where she can get close, and like I said, like the neutral range is a big thing that I think a lot of people aren't considering when it's like, oh, I could shield it. You can't directly punish me for it. But the ball is in her court to make a choice in neutral here, right? If she is able
Yeah.
to get that close. So that's why I'm still not really as much of a fan of it. Okay, F throw here. I think you should just opt for up throw instead of the F throw here. It's
Okay.
awkward. Even if she misses DI sometimes at these higher percents, it's still just like lets her set up for a tech chase. And I'm not saying you can't get anything off a tech chase. I just think the juggle is more likely to be successful.
Yeah, that was something I was
Ooh,
thinking about is
that's scary.
if these throws should just be up in the air, try and shark it because I do get
Yeah, it's totally fine to shark her up high up in the air. Like falling, you're doing rising up air to do it, but falling up air is no risk whatsoever at high percent,
okay.
right? Because you'll send her so far back up, and all she can do is double jump her back down. But because she's sent so high up, you have the time to get underneath her like way easier. And I was gonna say for this F smash here, you have to. I think one thing you have to understand when you're going for S smashes like this is massive read. Like this is a soul read basically at this percent. Because if she grabs you at this percent, you'll be at 80, and then you could potentially be put off stage. And then off stage, when with Sheik Marth, you have to look at that as a checkmate for her. Like, it's death. So this F smash, while like I get why you're doing it, it can work and it can kill because of the percent. It's a hard read. You're way more likely to win. Like Zayn will never do this F smash, right? He would always just play the percents, play the advantage state, and then get a kill from that, because it's much more likely to happen and way more like safe for him. So not to harp you too much on F smashing too much. I know every Marth hates hearing saying that, but it's really scary given the context of what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's something I'm trying to change. It's something I know is an issue.
Yep.
It's just
no, I get it.
Putting into practice.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you gotta practice. But yeah, honestly, good set. I think I actually really don't think you played bad there. I think it's just a couple like small things to change, and I think you would have beaten like way harder. So yeah.
No, I mean that was probably one of the better sets I played. I mean, I ended up getting the win. I usually don't win that, but it is the matchup that's caused the most problems.
Yeah, well, I think just try your best, fix up those small spots, right? Like in terms of like how you're getting throws, where you're putting yourself in neutral. I feel like you have this part pretty well like down packed about the matchup. I think this second part is kind of the problem where you're kind of lacking in it a bit. So really, if you just focus on this, like hard focus on just only doing this, you might find it gets boring or lame, but I promise you it's not more lame than getting edge guarded by Sheik. Like it's just one of those things you kind of have to like, it's a discipline thing more than anything. But yeah, we're about at an hour 15 here. Any questions about the matchup?
Yeah, so it's more not about the matchup, but more about how you go about fixing, like, making the adjustments that like you want to make in a a matchup. So like I understand that like I'm like just like spacing poorly in neutral with those down tilts. I'm running in a lot.
Yep.
And now like I didn't know I was coming off the ledge like too early. How do you go about fixing that? What's your preferred method for trying to practice that?
You mean like efficient practice kind of thing?
Yeah, like not just so like just making those changes, because at this point those are like really built-in tendencies for me. I don't know, what's your like approach to habit breaking?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it depends on what I'm trying to fix or incorporate into my game. So I think this is a like very clear instances of like habit breaking for like the getting off the ledge thing, the S smash stuff, that stuff. But I think like the dash dancing in neutral, because it's more like theory based and it's not necessarily like you don't outright win for doing the neutral spacing. It's just like a setup you can do to make the situation more advantageous for you. So for the neutral stuff, like the advantageous position things, that's something I like to practice. Like either way, I like to practice most of my time on unranked. I think unranked is incredibly invaluable. You could use like Melee Online or like message a Sheik player that you know and practice that. That's perfectly fine too. But in general, like those are kind of things I'll do, and I'll just have notes of things I'm looking for, or like what I'll often do is I'll just play with that one thing in mind, and then I'll kind of like take notes of like, okay, this was happening a lot, or I'll watch back my videos and be like, this was happening a lot when I was doing that. Am I misspacing it? Am I doing something wrong? Kind of like when I'm answering these questions right here, right? Like what's going wrong in my games where this isn't happening? What am I doing to let her stay in these advantageous spots more? How do I avoid it, right? Those are kind of questions I ask myself for the neutral type positions. As far as the bad habit stuff and breaking those, it depends on the bad habit more often than not. Like one thing a lot of bad players will have in general is like the double jump at a hit stun thing, or double jumping above the ledge. So typically for them, I'll recommend even just practicing like solo practice. It might not seem really like obvious at the time, but just getting hit by a certain move and trying to recover around something, an Uncle Punch. But for more like just straight up, like it's a bad habit, don't do this. I'll usually like, I have two monitors when I'm playing at all times, but you can do the same thing with like a sticky note. I'll play, and I'll keep that one bad habit on mind, on like written down right in front of me. So like here, I have right here. This is a habit I'm trying to do. Stop whiffing right in their face if they're in the corner. Just play center and play the Moki range, which is something like I know what it is. And it which is basically whiff punishing. And then using grab on invincibility. I have a tendency to not grab as much as on invincibility. I'll like rip and F smash instead. Where I think grab is just better more often than not. And I literally will just like have this on my right monitor, melee on my left one, and I just play, right? And then that's it. I leave that right in front of me. And then if I find that I'm still getting hit by stuff, or like in between stocks, I'll just literally look at these notes, read them, and then I'm playing that whole stock with just that on my brain. I'll play unranked for like an hour at a time, or I'll play a Sheik or something, and I'll literally walk away from the set upset sometimes, even if I've beaten them over and over, because I didn't do the things I was practicing enough, or I would consistently be beating those habits out of me. And it's just kind of one of those things, like when I was trying to beat the double jump out of hit stun one, for example, if I see it happen, one thing I find that's really helpful is I'll literally just sit there and I'll like yell at myself. Like I'll be like, why? And then that's just enough to like keep me like not doing it for the rest of it, you know? And then from there, it kind of just like breaks that habit. It's just one of those things you have to practice not doing it, right? Whatever works best for you. If sometimes people like listening to music and shutting their brain off and just that's the one thing they're thinking about. Some people like intentionally throwing games so they get put in those disadvantageous spots. Some people like Uncle Punching and like the Sheik Edgeguard thing and just practicing it out that way. And, you know, that's the thing that they practice. So that's their latest hand memory. I recommend trying to find what works for you. But generally speaking, I do think that note taking and having it not only just in front of you so it's easy to see, but actually writing to your own words what is actually like your problem is more helpful than anything. Like I think some people will just know like, I keep like you'll hear it all the time when people lose. Yeah, he just keeps dash dancing in front of me and I keep whiffing grab and I can't grab him, right? But that doesn't really like if you write I can't grab him, like that doesn't really mean anything. You want to be like as specific as possible, like where you're doing it. So like I'm right here, stop whiffing in their face if they're in the corner, play center, play the Moki range, K whiff punish, and like this doesn't really may not mean too much to you because you might not understand like what the Moki range is and what I'm trying to punish. But like for me, this is clear as day, like what I'm trying to do, right? And it's just there in my notes in between stocks. I'll read it, and if it doesn't apply to that next stock I play, whatever, I'll read it again anyway. Because this is the only thing I'm trying to get out of breaking that habit, right? I'm not trying to win my friendlies. I'm trying to break my habits. So that's typically what I recommend for that anyway. Just kind of keep it fresh on your mind at all times. Because more often than not, these are like a bad habit isn't necessarily something you're like actively thinking of. It's something like your brain is telling you to do by default, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just takes focus. That's really it. But yeah. Anything else about what we talked about?
No. Not for now. I know we're over time. I don't want to use it too much more.
Totally fine. Yeah, I'm asking you. So if you do have anything, it's totally okay. One thing I was going to say in terms of question asking, I know some coaches are a little weird about this, but I'm definitely not one of them. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think that I have that following. I just don't have that ego. So absolutely, if you ever have a question about Melee, please feel free, send me a DM, throw it in my Discord, get other people involved if you want. I will answer it every time. Like I might take a bit of time to answer it sometimes, or sometimes if I think the answer is complicated enough where I'm like, hey, maybe this is a little bit too long of like a question, maybe a session might be better for this. I might recommend that. More often than not though, I will just straight up write it out for you. So absolutely feel free to use me as a resource. I really don't mind and completely available for that. But yeah, like I said, I really do hope you enjoyed this session. I think, like I said, one-off sessions are good for a couple quick answers, but I do really push long-term improvement with my lessons. So if we were to do another lesson on Marth Sheik, we'd be building off a lot of the stuff we talked about today. And I think that's more permanent overall. So yeah, not to super shill or anything. One last thing I have to ask. My manager has been telling me from my sponsor that I need to start doing this. So I'm just going to say it. If you would like to leave a testimonial for me on Twitter about the session, if you enjoyed what you heard today, whether it be on Twitter or Discord, either or work, just so I can reshare it. Or if you want to do it on Metafy, that works too. Please, I would really appreciate it. No obligation whatsoever. I'm not gonna remember if you were the one person who didn't do it. It's totally okay. But I would appreciate it. It definitely helps me out a ton. But yeah, not required by any means. And like I said at the beginning of the session, I will have this uploaded for you on YouTube later tonight. I'll send you the link. It'll be in my Discord for other students to watch. So definitely, if you are interested in booking more lessons, please use that as a resource. Go back, watch the VOD, come with questions. And even if we talk about anything else, it's just good just to catch up and see how you're making out with things. We can talk about it again. But yeah.
So I did book. I did book three, or I did buy 3 sessions.
Oh, okay.
So I was gonna ask. You're going to is Collision this weekend, right?
Yep. So I'll be gone from Friday to Tuesday.
Okay. I do want to check in if you're good to do another lesson next week.
Yeah, absolutely. You can book it on your time. I get I don't know if you can see my DMs here, but every time something happens for me on Metafy, I get a little message just to check up on something, whether it be someone rescheduling, someone's booked, even even just purchased. So on your time, put in a request for whatever time you like. If it doesn't work for me, I will send you a DM on Discord, but you'll also get probably a message from Metafy as well, just saying I'm asking you to reschedule if it doesn't work. But more often than not, I will just say yes. So perfectly fine if you want to do one next week. I'm happy to do so.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll work on some of these things for sure. Or I'm gonna try and work on find a Sheik to practice against neutral stuff, because that's just.
I think that'd be probably most helpful for you. Yeah.
But it's just get the time in there.
Yep.
And then I was gonna see if for the next 2 weeks I'll book some time, because I do want to get two more sessions in this month.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'm totally willing. So yeah, I will talk to you in a week then. Again, like I said, in between then and now, if you have questions, shoot me a DM, shoot me a message on Discord. Totally fine. But yeah, we'll talk soon. Have a good rest of your night.
Cool. You as well.
All right, bye now.